Well, good morning, everybody. This is another video of saving push mowers. This one is, I'm going to call her Connie. As you can see, Connie's got serious problems. I sold this gentleman a mower, and he gave me this one that he broke months ago. It was just sitting in his backyard. He said the wheel was broken off, and it is. But there's other serious things wrong with it. The handle is wonky. Got the wrong kind of screws and knobs on there. This is the situation with the back wheel. It's completely rusted out. Missing the muffler. Missing the air filter. Let's go around the other side. This is what's called a pulsa carburetor and tank. Probably, I would say, millions of these have been made over the years. They're actually very reliable. I think they may still make them. The only problem with these is that often the metal tanks rust out, especially when they're neglected like this and you get water in them. But this one appears to have liquid in it. God knows what it is. I'm assuming it's mostly water, since it was literally raining the day that I picked this up, so you got water going all down the throat of the carburetor. And I put Connie's name right there because I'm thinking that by the time I get to the end of this, if this mower is salvageable, it'll probably just be the engine that's salvageable, since that deck is totally rusted out over there. And so what I've got to do, I think, first is get the tank off and get that out of there, because when I first pulled the cord on this, I probably shouldn't have done that, but I pulled the cord just to see if it had compression. It appeared to, but it was so full of gunk and stuff that it threw about half a pint of oil and gas. Let me show you. Out the muffler. So that's, of course, there is no muffler there, but that's the exhaust port that the muffler goes to, and it's broken off. And one of the things I'll probably do in this video series is show you how to get that out and put you a new muffler on there, if this thing is even salvageable. I'm encouraged that there is a spark plug in it, so at least maybe I haven't had too much water getting in this thing. So let's take a look at the oil in this, because if it's contaminated, then that's going to be a serious problem. So let's take a quick look at that. With this one, use a little screwdriver. It's the simplest way. And let's take a quick look here. Okay, it's showing as being overfull, and I'm letting it drip because this thing is just so horrible anyway. Normally I'd have a paper towel ready, and it looks overfull, but sometimes that's because it's overfull because there's also water in there, and that's forced the whole level up. But let's hope that's not it. We'll see. So what I'm going to do now is put the phone, the camera in the holster here, and we're going to get this tank off. And I'm going to show you how I do that, which is not necessarily the way that other people do it. Isn't that? There we go. That should work. Let me back this up a little. You guys can see that pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get this tank off. You got to get these. You're going to use a 3/8 to get that screwed out right there, and usually on these, it's a 1/2 inch on that one. So bear with me while I get the correct sockets and everything and extensions. And of course, this mower is going to have to be cleaned up a lot. It's pretty rough. And like I said, I don't think I can save the deck on this. If I can save anything on it, it'll probably be the engine. And if I can't save the engine, then I'll be at least saving that gas tank. And if this gas tank leaks, which they often do because they're metal and they rust out over the years when they're neglected like this and left out in the weather, you can repair those leaks if they aren't too bad, usually on the bottom with JB Weld. So remember that. You don't necessarily have to throw the tank away if it leaks. They are repairable because they're metal. All right, let me get my 1/2 inch and my 3/8. Okay, here we go. We're going to do the 3/8 first, right here in the front. And we're going to get this. But before I do that, let me show you what else is going on with this thing. This linkage here, somebody has really messed with. And I want to show you this so you know. That is, let's just go through it here. Let me get something to point with. This spring here is incorrect. That's in the wrong location. That spring is very fine, very delicate, and actually goes there and connects to the top of the throttle here, this little butterfly black plastic thing. It's going to connect to that. And somewhere along the way, somebody has completely reversed the throttle and it's pointed the wrong way. The V of this throttle should be right here. Instead, it's over here. So it's completely spun around and reversed. I don't know what this is connected to. Okay, it's still connected to here, but it's just, this is on the wrong side. So this is never going to work right. So I've got to take all of this off, put this spring, and connect it to the right location, which is there. So this, then it just pulls straight across from here and keeps that throttle valve operating properly based on how much load is on the engine. And then this little spring, like I said earlier, is going to go here and there. And it doesn't look like it's stretched out too bad, so I think I can actually save that spring. But I've got to get all this off in order to correct all that. So bear with me, and I'm going to get that off, and let's do it together. Let me set the phone down. Okay. And again, we're going to take this off. If I can't save this mower, at least I'll be able to save this tank and maybe the carburetor, stuff like that. Let me get this going. That's not tight at all. That's good. I'll probably get it off my hand. So get that off. Put that somewhere where you're not going to lose it, like in a little magnetic disc or something. There's one over there. Use that one there, okay. That's the 3/8 that comes off. Now we're going to do the 1/2 inch, which goes straight in and attaches the tank that way. Okay, this one's not loose. There we go. Now this type of pulse jet uses the air vane governor rather than the automatic governor that comes from the engine. Both of them are good designs, and both of them use the same type of carburetor. All right, so now that I've got this screw out and this screw out, this is just going to slip off. So I'm just going to wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Okay, it's coming off. Okay, now it's off. Okay, now you turn the tank to get it so it clears that little elbow right at the end there. You always make sure it drops down a little so it makes that turn easy. Should come off. Okay, now I'm going to take that spring off, that little one I was telling you about that's in the wrong spot, because I'm going to try and save that. That's it's not even attached to anything. Here we go. It's attached on one end. Let me get that out of there so you can see it. Okay, so this little spring here is, the ends of it are stretched out. And I'm going to show you where it goes. It's going to go right there. So it's going to attach to that flat plate there. And then this is going to attach to this circular part on that linkage. So you actually have two springs that are going to connect to that. There's this big spring right here is going to connect to that little circle. And then this little one, which is really kind of what I think of as a very fine adjustment for the carburetor, is going to attach that flat plate to that circle. But obviously this is so messed up right now, we're not going to do that until everything comes off and we get this straightened out. Like, I've got to get that butterfly completely turned around. So hang on a second, I'm going to put this back in the holster. Okay, I think that's pretty good. I'm going to set my little spring over here in the magnetic dish. I want to save that. That goes on top of the carburetor. That's a gasket, and that'll keep it from leaking, and you don't want to get an air leak on there. Let me clean off some of this debris. I don't think the tank is leaking, so that's good. And I'm going to go ahead and pop this back in place so you can see me do this. All right, so this butterfly valve is in the wrong place. So I've got to bump it up over that little hump right there, that little notch. Okay, now it's in the right spot. You can see the throttle open and close. That's what you want. So somehow this thing had gotten completely spun around. All right. This doesn't look too bad, really, even though it's dirty. This thing is not too bad. It does seem to have some flexibility. A lot of crap down in there because he had it open. So we got that off. And I'm going to go ahead and clean around here a little bit. Get some of this junk out of the way. Okay, just get some of that dirt out of the way. Now I'm going to put this spring where it belongs, and this is what's going to happen with that. Okay, so it's correct there. It's not correct there. You see that big slotted hole there in that little arm? That's where the end of this spring goes. So let's see if we can slip it in there. Now he's probably, yeah, he's got it all stretched out and bent. See if I can get that off of there. Where's the end of it? Okay, there's the end of it. This thing is so stretched out. Get it around, go around this way. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna go this way first. That'll give me something to work with. So let's see if I can do that with one hand. So I'm bending that. It's hard to do with one hand. You know what? I'm just gonna slip it out. So there, it's slipped out completely off of that wind vane arm. And now it's all stretched out, so I should be able to get this off of here pretty easily. There, it's nice and loose now. It's like trying to get a fish hook out. Okay, so there, we got the spring out. There it is. Okay, so I'm going to reshape that. Let's do that. Let me put the phone down. Okay, it's kind of lined up on that wheel. That's good. All right, so this is what we're working with here. That connects in the wind vane. You want it to go down into it and then turn that way. And then this is going to connect to that black plastic thing that was spun around. So you put that in there, but this is all stretched out. So this has got to be repaired. So what I'm going to do is I don't want to lose that overlap. I'm going to try to collapse that some and get it back to where I think it might hang on and do its job. Let me collapse it a little bit more. Okay, I think that might be okay. It's ugly, but I think it'll work. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this in that slotted hole where it goes. On the other thing I like to do on these, let me go get my big flathead pliers. Do this up close so you can see what I'm doing. This whole thing moves and it will slow the engine down based on the tension you put on that spring. But for simplicity, just remember this piece here, I'm going to straighten it. It's been bent up. I want to put it back down where it goes there, okay? And then this piece right here, you can bend. It's designed to do this. You bend it down like that, and now it's always going to be running at about full speed, okay? And if you really want it full speed, then you make sure it's all the way out this way, and then push this thing in there where it's touching, see, and it's not going to move. That spring will not move much at all, just very slight. So it'll be running at the correct RPMs all the time. You won't have to worry about that. If you ever want to bring the throttle speed back, you could do that by bending that back up. But I like to just set them and so you don't have to think about it. It's just one good RPM operating speed. All right, let me set the phone down. Got that off. And I'm going to go ahead and put this spring in here so I don't lose it. I'm going to connect it to that slotted opening I showed you earlier and go in and kind of spin it around a couple times. That way I know that spring's not going to come out. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, there's the end. Try and get it through that opening. It's easier to get through this opening than it is these tiny little pinholes, which are the wrong location anyway. Got it open, got it in there. Okay, I'm going to go in and put at least a couple of turns on there so it's snug, you know what I mean? Okay, so there we go. Okay, now it's something small to poke up with. Get that going that way. There we go. Okay, now. Let me get the phone here so you can see that. Okay, so now I've got that thing locked in where it's supposed to be, right in there. You see, that's not going to move much when this is connected. And this is going to drop down and connect to that little hole there in that black plastic vane. And then that little angle, of course, is what the butterfly valve is going to connect to. But that's enough for right now. This is episode 1 of Saving Connie. Stay tuned.